Well, good morning. Here it is, Saturday morning.
It's not Saturday.
Well, what day do you think it is? Well, that'll be tomorrow.
Saturday.
And
Here's a little sprout, and I have with me Pop Sprout.
well, if y'all didn't understand that because it was so fast and jumbled together, worse than I usually do. That was Little Sprout. And there he has with him ugly old Papa Sprout. So, good morning, farm in our backyard. Glad you stopped in. Well, it's Miss Jerry. What about it?
What's
Farming our backyard. And I don't know why he can't get Jerry instead of he calls Miss Gary. We'll get him fixed though. You're silly. All right, so beginning of the live stream, everybody knows it's gonna be slow because there's some things I want to say, and I want more people to hear it than just one. Just for the record, there are two people here, and you had someone say hi to you. Farm Kid number 1 said hi to you. You remember at our tent in Virginia, at our booth, there was a little baby girl that was hanging out with us? Yeah, that's Farm Kid. She was eating all my chips. I couldn't even eat any chips because. Oh, I did eat some? I'm just teasing anyway. I wasn't eating much. And Farm Kid number 1 wanted some chips. And you know how most parents are. They're not going to let a kid go hungry. So Little Sprout says hi back to Farm Kid number 1. He's kind of, to me, sounding very jumbled today. It could be me because I worked on a lot of loud stuff this week, so it could just be me not hearing properly anymore. I did try to use my hearing protection all week, but occasionally I missed it, and well, everybody understands how that goes. So anyway, I'm hoping a few people jump in here because I want to talk about the KETO collaboration. Hey, Little Sprout, your time is up on the game system for the day. So if you want to maybe jump onto Netflix and watch, or Amazon or regular TV for that matter, and maybe watch some of your construction guys that teach you letters. I can't remember what they're called. With Rubble and Chase. And...
they're Paw Patrol.
Okay, if you want to watch some of that kind of stuff, you can. Or okay, that's fine. Anyway, guys and gals, I'm not sure who's in here. I've only seen one person other than myself say hi. So it says there's 2 people in here. It said there was 3 for a second. Pardon me. I need the other one, son. We are in the first full week since I sent out a challenge about the ketogenic diet to some people. And I've gotten a couple of people that have made videos of themselves making a keto dinner or breakfast. Actually, they all made a breakfast except for one who actually made, I thought it was pretty great that they made their coffee creamer that they use for coffee throughout the week. And you know, it's something I never would have thought to do, to make it up bulk for the week. because I just make it pretty much every morning later because it's muddy out right now and we're not even ready to go out for the day. Little Sprout wants to go out and practice with his bow and arrow. I don't know, Farming Our Backyard, I don't know which one of you are in, so I'm just going to call by your channel. My eating, I don't, generally speaking, have a hard time getting onto the keto diet. Some people really struggle when they first start out, especially. And I think it's weird that I don't have a problem. I have 2 T's in there, silly. All right, Nathan. Good to have you along. Good to have anybody along, but especially good to have people we know. Sorry to get distracted like that. I'm trying to find something here quick that we let Little Sprout watch. Well, that's not what you said a minute ago. Make up your mind of the. Anyway, my eating has gone well. I don't know if you've watched any of the videos that I've put in that playlist, but one of the, I think, in fact, the first one I put in there after the challenge was made, so therefore the second. It was a prep for the week. So what I did is I made a menu of what we were going to eat for dinner every week. And generally speaking, I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. And lunch, I just make choices. But overall, I generally speaking, I eat a salad with some cheese and ranch dressing on it for lunch. And I add some sort of meat to that. In that video where I showed our preps, I didn't show it all the way through, but I showed that I was making chicken in the crock pot and then I shred that up the next morning. Well, I made that chicken and throughout the week I throw some chicken on a salad. Breakfast is usually either eggs or sausage and cheese and eggs. And then when I have a list of dinner, it's not like I'm coming home from work tired and having to make a decision. And Jerry, I'm sorry, I kind of missed one of your comments there that it's you watching and Nathan's listening while he cooks. I just saw that Nathan is listening while he cooks. So regardless, good to have you both along. When we have a plan, we really do well at staying on the diet. That said, yesterday we had Big Sprout, who's very rarely, I think he's actually only in one of our videos. And so Big Sprout, he had his driving test yesterday to get his driver's license, and he got it. Yay. Well, there's ways around that. I mean, I'm not going to say it would be the easiest thing in the world, but there's ways around that. More avocados and more olives, just as an example. But I'm really am trying to answer your question from a few minutes ago about how's our eating going. We had the plan. Big Sprout had his test yesterday. Now, I think everybody that takes the driving test knows if you can have a smaller vehicle to take the test, it's easier to take the test in, especially maneuverability power, the maneuverability part. Now, and I am speaking about the maneuverability test in the state of Ohio. I don't know about other states and what they do for that. So we borrowed my grandmother's car, and Listen, everybody knows when you go to grandma's, you can't not eat. I don't care if I stop in there at lunchtime and I've already eaten lunch. If I happen to be working near her house and I've already eaten lunch, but I'm not gonna be able to stop after noon or after work, so I stop in at noontime and hey, grandma, I'm near town. You need me to run to the store and get you anything or something? You gotta eat something. Yes, I've already answered that question today. So I went to grandma's. Well, actually, in the daytime, my wife went up and borrowed her car so that my son could take his driving test, and I returned it. And of course, walk in to give her keys back. And I've got soups made up for you. You gotta have some dinner before you go. Everybody was coming, right? No, Grandma, it's just me. Oh, I thought everybody was coming. So big old pots of soup, and of course, none of them are keto friendly. So well, not only can you not say no because it's rude. It's grandma, man. She makes. Uh, listen, I can't dog anybody's cooking because everybody cooks great, right? You can't find better food than grandma's. Uh, I almost just want to eat when I go there, but of course she made potato cheese soup and she made chili and she had this spread of crackers and cheese and she had I don't even know what all out because I didn't have your car seat with me yesterday. That's why you weren't coming with us or with me. So uh, we I ate a very small bowl of chili that did have beans in it last night. And then I came home and well, we just ultimately decided that last night we were going to have our a cheat meal, and we did. I mean, but we didn't go nuts. And a lot of times when people are on diets like this, when they take a cheat meal time, or they don't go out and enjoy it for a cheat meal. They enjoy it for I'm going to eat all the nasty crap I can. About cursed. Um, and we've made that mistake a lot of times. All right, we're going to have a cheat meal tonight, so let's go buy 10 bags of chips, 45 containers of Little Debbie's. Oh, and this cake over here looks good, and let's get some, and you name it. And all of a sudden, we're off diet for like 6 months because we got back in and let the whole sugar and chemicals and everything take our body back over into that addiction cycle. Well, last night I was very, very careful about what I got. Instead of getting a container of, the snack cakes, whatever brand I would have picked up, and a container of some sort of chips and things like that, I got just enough for all of us to eat regular dinner, and I got everybody an individual size dessert. And there's no more in the house. And you can't tell it by what I see. This is actually a daytime shirt, but I'm still in my pajamas for the bottoms. And guess where I'm not going? Out to get stuff we shouldn't eat. In fact, I've already eaten a keto friendly breakfast and I'm feeling pretty good. I had some coffee with fat in it. So therefore I'm pretty full. I'm happy with how I've eaten. And in other words, we're right back on the diet. So I guess we're doing intros again. Um, that's the big problem for us. Yeah, if it's here, we're tempted. Now, it is also kind of hard if you're going to talk about that and watch that go over there, okay, since we got it down so quiet. I will tell you that it's hard for us not to have stuff here that is tempting to my wife and I. My youngest two boys, they cannot eat a ketogenic diet. They have to have food that is not ketogenic friendly. Now, they don't have to have the snack cakes and things like that, but they have to have breads and mean, they don't have to have chips, but we do try to keep them a little. We don't want them to be, downtrodden about their diet. So we let them have little snack stuff, but they have a lot of fruit too. And I don't think fruit's bad, but it's not on the keto diet overall, especially not at the beginning stages. So that said, we are doing very well. What? Oh, okay. We'll talk about that in a little bit because that's unrelated to what we're talking about. I have lost weight over this week. I just did it and I forgot. 8.6 pounds. It would have been more if I wouldn't have cheated last night, but oh well. It's not like I'm going to win the competition anyway and keep the prize for myself. But 8.6 pounds for me works out to 2.8% of my body weight. And so we're moving in the right direction. I am not going to talk about my wife's weight loss or percentage of weight loss or anything like that. That is something we just aren't going to do. I will say that she's moving in the right direction as well. So I don't have her permission to say she started out at X weight and now she's X minus 27 pounds or whatever the case may be. So I'm not going to even go there. But I'm going to continue as far as this collaboration and challenge goes. I'm going to keep working on weight loss. I'm going to keep putting out videos on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock is what I plan on going live every week. And I'm going to spend the first amount of time, however much time it works out to, in our live, talking about what we've done on the keto diet this week, how much weight we've lost this week, or I've lost, and what that works out to in percentage of weight loss, things like that. And I will throughout the week. It happened to be last week I was able to, for the first 2-3 days, put a video out every day, and then work schedules said we had to stop. And so I'm doing a live today. I know that I may be able to get a video recorded today and maybe another one tomorrow, but I won't be able to get them up till at least Monday, maybe Tuesday. Plus I have now got all the stuff to put other videos together unrelated to the keto diet, but the long and the short of it is I want to keep the collaboration going. I want to say something to a couple of people. Feel free to jump in even if you're not trying to lose weight. Maybe you want to talk about your successes on the keto diet. I've been on the keto diet for 3 years, 2 years, whatever the case may be. I'm not losing any more weight, but I'm staying on keto for reason X, Y, and Z. And the reason I would really encourage you to do that is number one, and this is by far the most important reason, you are going to help people like myself to stay motivated. But here's a little update on the prize package. There are people who did mention when I talked about doing this collaboration, they mentioned, oh, I'd like to do a keto collaboration, but I don't want to take part in the challenge. Great. Be a part of it. What my wife and I did is you all who watched my live from last week, whether you watched it actually live or whether you watched it as a replay, you saw the prize package that I've put together for the people or person that has the highest percentage of weight loss. My wife and I discussed it, and we're going to throw a $25 Amazon gift card out there What we'll do is all the channels who put videos up who say in support of our collaboration, maybe you've put a recipe together on video, or you've talked about why you are keto or how long you've been keto or things like that. What we'll do is we'll take the name of all of those channels and we'll put it in a hat and we'll grab one out, and that channel will win a $25 Amazon gift card. I will not tell you what you have to do with that gift card by any means. I would hope, however, that you would use that gift card for something homestead related, whether you can find good seeds on Amazon or maybe a homesteader's book that you've been thinking about getting or something like that. That is my hope, but of course I would never need to know that. So we are trying we're trying very hard to get as many people involved as possible. You need to stop. You need to stop. 5 years old, acting 5 years old. Farm in our backyard, we will be glad to have you in on that. I do understand, like you said earlier, about the dairy-free. I don't know why. Don't need to know why you're doing dairy-free. I will assume that's because you are a part of this niche on YouTube. I know a lot of what people research, or I don't maybe not know what they research, but I know that people do all kind of research, and a lot of people who are in this niche have done so much research that they feel that this is the only way they can get around food allergies. I see that. So I was going to say, I imagine you have already you've already researched the other options like the A2 or the raw milk or things of that nature. So I'm not going to suggest that. I understand that 5 years old, acting 5 years old. I'm going to tell you this last time to stop, or I'll spank you behind right in front of God and everybody on this live TV show.
No, it's not going.
We'll talk about that later too. There are ways around that. Let's just leave it at that. I have thought about not, going away from dairy altogether too, but just not where I'm at in life. Well, when we first found out our kids had the metabolic disorder that they have, we actually thought about going vegetarian, and nah, I can't do that either. I probably could. No, I don't want to. I love my kids and everything, and I even love them enough that if I had to, I would, but we can make it work. It's just like we can make knock it off. If you want to sit in on the video, that's fine. Come on over here and sit in. We can chat about stuff you want to chat about. 5 years old, acting 5.
You're not letting me act 5.
Wow, I didn't know they had milk in their chicken. I had heard that they dip their chicken in some kind of brine that has sugar in it. So when you get a like a grilled chicken, if I want to be on the keto diet and I want to go to Chick-fil-A, also go in there and get a garden salad, I think they call it, and a grilled chicken. But yeah, they dip it in a brine that's got sugar in it, is what I've heard. Now mine, I've went in there plenty of times and got that exact meal for lunch, and I've continued to lose weight. So I don't know for sure, but it does have a kind of sweet taste to it. So I can believe that somehow they have milk in their chicken, probably in their breading. But I think I wish I had Little Sprouts energy on the weekends. I have it throughout the week. When I'm at work, I'm go like that. Usually, I mean, I have my times where I'm like, I don't want to be here and just sit down or whatever. But he's 5. He's got a 5-year-old's energy for sure. So, all right. So I've lost weight. works out to 2.8% of my body weight over this last week. Let's see. It's 8.6 pounds, 2.8% of my body weight. We're doing okay. As far as that goes, we're all, my wife and I, Mama Sprout and Papa Sprout are back on diet today. We just took, like I said, one meal off yesterday. We have added a prize for those who want to partake in, they want to partake in the collaboration, but they don't want to partake in the challenge. And that is where we're at. I'm hoping a couple of other channels who have one channel, I'm not going to name off Big Bear's channel or anything, but I talked to them before I made the last video, the live video making the challenge, and they said they want to be involved. And my name is Jason, and I approve this message. Is the only thing I didn't say in that quote is his last name, and put your shirt on. So he keeps calling me out on Two Families stuff about rudely challenging him. Hey, I rudely challenged it because you said you would be game to be in it. So I'm just waiting on your video response. I hope that we get that up soon. And there's a couple of other channels who've said they wanted to be involved, and they haven't made their videos. And I'm not exactly rushing you, but I do hope that they come on pretty soon. There are a couple of channels who have made videos that are in the collaboration playlist. That Little Brown Bear, sorry, that's what that says. There's a couple of channels that have made videos that are in the playlist that one of those said they don't want to be involved in the challenge, but they still went on to make a video, and I verified Off Kilter Homestead. I verified that you want this on this playlist, and yes, so it's on there. No Dough Acres has they made the cream video, and I gotta tell you, I'm going back to that. I said at the beginning, I'm thrilled that video came out, because it's something I never would have thought of, and that's going to make my morning routine probably a minute to a minute and a half shorter each day. And if you are like me, you understand that saving a minute to a minute and a half in the morning is huge. What? BEES, bees. Yes, very good. Very good. Yes, we do have our own BEEs. So I don't really have much to add as far as homestead update, other than Mama Sprout is working hard on getting her soaps caught back up. In fact, I know very soon, I would say within the next week at the most, we have 2 types of soap that are coming back into stock. However, one of those soaps is already almost sold out by way of pre-orders. So look for an update on the website if you are interested. They're going to be starting to come up. And the website you can find up in our banner. Yes, Two Family Homestead. Thanks for being here. It is Saturday. Thank God, because I needed a day off work after this week. Yes, we have our own BEES. And what's that spell? Bees. Sherry, Daryl, I don't know which one of you are here. Just a real quick synopsis. I have lost 8.6 pounds this week. So that works out to 2.8% of my body weight. I have reiterated the challenge to everybody, and I've added a prize for those who want to partake in the collaboration, however, don't want to partake in the challenge. And that will be for people who just make videos, maybe of a keto dinner or breakfast or whatever that they make, or maybe those people just make a video about why they're on the keto diet or why they're staying on the keto diet, things like that, as a way to support those of us who are doing it at this point in time to lose weight. Those channels that make those videos and want to put them on the collaboration playlist, what we will do is I'll just write up a list and separate the names and put them in a hat, and I'll draw one out, and whichever one of those channels I draw, they will get a $25 gift card for Amazon. And now I suggested that maybe they use that for something homestead. You can't do that. You can't put that on the screen, Daddy. You can get in trouble for that. I understand, but you can't do that. Daddy can get in trouble for that. It's called copyright infringement. And I don't know if that's the case. I may be wrong, but I'd rather be wrong and not have it on there than right and get in trouble. So I would hope that because we're in the homesteading niche, that someone would use it for homesteading related products. That's why I chose the prize package I did, because that's all something that helps out homesteaders. So I think you're caught up. It took us 30 minutes to talk about that so far. So let's see, soaps coming up. The first one that's going to be available will be the Behave soap. That is the one that's got the honeycomb on the top. And then the next one that will be available was an overwhelming request we got at the Homesteaders of America conference, and that is tea tree oil and charcoal soap, activated charcoal facial soap. I may have those in the wrong order, but it's only by like a day, so they'll probably both pretty much go up on the website at the same time. We've got you all who follow the Small YouTubers group on Facebook already know we've got one of our Christmas soaps coming up. It is a golden color soap with frankincense and myrrh in it, therefore gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and that's why we name it the King's Gift, because those are the gifts that the wise men brought to the newborn king. Then the next soap, and it's going to be a couple weeks out for these ones, but the next two soaps will be we're redoing the pumpkin pie soap, and we are also what was that? Oh, Cashmere Bliss. We had somebody send us a message requesting both of, well, actually they requested Behave, Cashmere Bliss, and pumpkin pie soap. And I wish that I could say that either one of us does soaps the full time or for full time. Obviously we don't. So it does take us some time to get it caught back up. But yes. Not right now. No. We'll talk about that later. So let's see. I'm going to be working a little bit later today on a couple of keto videos. I'm going to make a keto bread. And I am going to make, what was the other thing I said I was going to make? I forgot. No, I've got it written down out there. I will probably make a total of 3 items. One of them, I'll just have to pick it in a little bit. Well, I think somebody's got a cookie collaboration coming out. I'm not going to mention their name unless they want to say it themselves if they're still in here. A cookie collaboration coming out, so I'll make a set of cookie video for that collaboration, and I will make it keto. So that's 3 different videos that I'm going to be recording. Plus, I'm going to today and tomorrow work on the candy boards for the bees, like I've been saying. So we'll be getting that video out pretty soon. As a part of that video, I am going to not only make up the candy boards, I'm going to make up candy bars. Excuse me. Shut that door and get back in here. It's daggone cold out there that you can't be going out the way you're dressed. Come on, you're not even supposed to be in the kitchen.
I know. I'm sick. I got something.
Then go lay down. If you're sick, go lay down. All right. All right. We're not gonna have this argument right now.
I had snot in my mouth.
5 years old, acting 5. God love him. I might be talking about, yeah, you're who I'm talking about too, family, but I don't know enough about your collaboration that I want to say too much about it because I don't want to say anything wrong. But yes, I will be making some videos for that collaboration. Some of those videos actually will be fitting for your playlist, your collaboration playlist, and my collaboration playlist. So I hope that's acceptable. And sorry guys, I got a message here. I need to double check it. Oh, I just got your message, Sherry. I just do what the boss said. Well, I just got your wife's message, and I apologize again. I told her Thursday night I would send her a recipe for you. You guys were going to have it yesterday for dinner, and I just failed miserably. I apologize for that. I hope your dinner, whatever you did wind up having, was pretty delicious. I know when you get the one when she makes, I assume it will be her cooking because she's the one I see cooking all your videos that have cooking. So when the boss cooks up what I sent her last night, oh, it's okay. I know that when she makes that up for you guys, it's going to become a staple for you. It is so delicious. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I keep Little Sprout somewhat occupied.
That's not the one.
It's not the right one. There we go. You know, you're not, two families not old enough to be my grandparents, but when I was younger, significantly younger, my grandparents were about the age of the two family homestead folks. I saw my grandparents' family dynamics, if you will. And my grandma was the boss at home. If it had to do with inside the home and making decisions about what's for dinner or how to clean or how the furniture's set up or what drapes we're going to have up and things like that, that was grandma. She was the boss at home. But outside of home, it was grandpa. And I just see Sherry and Daryl having something like that. Daryl's the boss when it comes to tech stuff, I bet. I just think it's cute. I mean, I think really all families have that. Someone's the boss in this instance and someone else is the boss in another instance. So
It's Sherry who's not. Daryl.
they are husband and wife. All right. So let's see. So I'll be making candy boards and candy bars for the beehives. I know I'm jumping subjects. Sorry. So the candy boards are a box that we put bee food in, and you who have watched our bee videos note that we put bee syrup in when they're making wax, especially towards the beginning of summer. That is not the bee food that goes in a candy board. It's the same idea. However, the sugar is significantly greater in proportion to the sugar water. In fact, it's about, of course, there's some variables, but it is about 20 pounds of sugar to about 3 cups of water. That is a huge amount of sugar in compared to the 1-to-1 ratio that you've seen us use in our videos. Well, what that does is the only reason you're putting the water in the sugar is to get that sugar to bind up. You actually, for candy boards, want the sugar to be like a sugar cube that's, people used to put in their teas. That is a candy board, and you make it in such a way that you leave ventilation. No acres. We all do know that for sure. Uh, um, well, I hope she enjoys her nap, and if you want to take one with her, I hope you enjoy yours too. Thanks for being here for a while. Um, but so you make it up in such a way that you allow ventilation. There's actually an entrance and a way for the bees to actually go out of the hive on the days that it gets warm enough, that few and far between that it gets warm enough and they want to go out. So they have a normal bottom entrance, and then they'll have a top entrance. They'll have some extra food for insurance. So that's the candy board. And I don't know if anybody else calls them candy bars or if that's just something that I have come up with. But in essence, it's refills. When you make the candy board, you fill the whole box that you make with that hardened sugar cube, and then candy bars are in essence refills, but they're significantly smaller. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be making 2 candy boards because I have 2 hive bodies with bees in them, and then I'm going to make an additional 2 candy bars for each board, so a total of 4 candy bars, and that will allow me plenty of feed for the winter if they need it, and it will allow me some refills. And with those refills, I will actually be able to tell, oh my gosh, it's only the beginning of January, and I've already put most refills in for these candy boards, and then I can make more candy bars up. And let me mention before I forget, as far as those candy bars and candy boards go, I do put a little bit of pollen substitute in them so that they're not just having nothing but carbs, but they also have a little bit of protein. So it's about it's about a cup of pollen substitute in with the original 20 pounds to 3 cups of water that I spoke of. And I put a couple caps full of white vinegar. And that white vinegar just helps keep any mold down. Because a big problem with beehives in winter is that they get too much condensation. That's why you put so much ventilation in there. And so once there's water or moisture in there, then mold can start. So those are the things that we do. Son, you need to get dressed right now.
I am.
I don't want you with your running around energy. I don't want you accidentally getting on the screen the way you are presently dressed. You need to get dressed fully. 5 years old, acting 5.
Stop.
So that is the major homestead updates for this week. Yeah, I mean, I love him to death. I wouldn't change anything, but sometimes they can be taxing. But today he's not being taxing. He's being very well. I mean, he's being 5. He's full of energy. It's been kind of rough weather around here too. I'm pretty cautious about letting my kids out when it gets cold and wet. I don't mind them being out when it's pretty cold. I don't mind them being out when it's wet in the summertime. But you're right, it's winter, but I wasn't talking about that just at the moment. But when there's wet snow and it's pretty cold, I mean, we'll go out and have a snowball fight, but as soon as he starts getting wet, he's back in. I don't want to do that. Well, it's been that way for the past few days here. And we'll see. I don't even know if there's any snow left, and that's kind of why I'm not wanting to go outside today, because all the snow that has been here the past few days is melting and it's muddy, and I don't have a problem with him getting dirty and muddy. That's not an issue, but then I have to worry about the cleanup, and it's just a real wet mud um, if there is mud out there. So yes, it's the same thing. I'm starting to be like Mr. Darrell. I'm starting to get multiple screens of stuff going. I'm starting to learn some technology. That could be dangerous. But going back to Little Sprout and his abundant energy today, is we barely had any time to be able to get out and run it off, and there he is. And I'm glad he got dressed beforehand. He wasn't naked by any means, but it's just things that we don't. Excuse me, guys. I have a fly around. It's daggone almost December, and I have a fly in the house. How does that happen? No, sir. It is November still. It's actually not almost. It's the middle of November. So let's see. Soap's coming up, and I'm trying to get my wife to make a video of how she makes some of her items. She does have on one of our playlists, because I thought I wouldn't have even made it a playlist. I thought she was going to do some more videos of it.
We are getting that.
She makes a type of soap. It's not one we've actually ever sold, but we had a lot of people ask us at an event we were at last year, do you make old-fashioned lye soap? And so she messed around with some recipes and worked up what she wanted to make her soap like. And we have a video of her making lye soap. And it's pretty good soap too. I wish she would make some more and sell it, because I think there's a market for that. Some people, they don't really want the other stuff. I mean, I don't know why, because the goat's milk and the honey in it makes it nice and smooth and moisturizing and just a good soap. But the lye soap she made is pretty good soap too. But she hasn't ever made enough to where she wants to sell it, I guess. I don't know. You know what? That gives me a subject to talk to her about. Nathan, I will let her know you said that, because I actually was talking to her about that recently, making more of at least those kind of videos. But actually, last night, she went to make the Cashmere Bliss soap, and I said, why don't we record that? I said, we can, she doesn't want to give away her exact recipe, and I absolutely agree with that. And I said, there's some things we could do to still put a soap video together without giving away your recipe, but still showing the process. And and I had too much stuff going on to even. Then come over here. I had too much stuff going on with running up to Grandma's and returning her car. By the time I got back, the soap was already made, so I didn't get a video of her. I do see that snow on the neighbor's roof. There might be a little out there. We'll see what we can do here in a little bit. Yeah, we have the fly in here, and we got those little fruit flies. I mean, we made it all summer. I think we had 3 flies in the house. So I mean, we may have more, but you get my point. It was very minimal. And then I don't know, about a week ago, it was just like our ceiling was black with all these fruit flies. Where did they come from? I mean, we didn't have any of them this year. So we've got traps set up, and they're going away, and we're being all that much more careful about what, if anything, we leave out, making sure we rinse off our dishes real good before we, if we're going to leave them sit around before we wash them, things like that. But I put out two fruit fly traps, and they're already full. So as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to be changing them out and putting those back up. And I've got you remember the old strips that Grandma and Grandpa used to hang in there, put a tack up in the ceiling, and the sticky strips. I'm gonna put one of those up. I will say, just looking out there, they're all out in the kitchen. Looking out there's a marked reduction in them, but still, it's like, where did all this stuff come from? So I've been thinking about something. One of the things, yeah, I'm switching gears again. Um, One of the things that happened to us this year um, is a lot of failure. Our garden failed miserably. I think I could probably count less than 10 cucumbers we pulled out of there. A very small amount of potatoes. Here's enough potatoes, which I don't think I've got that video up yet. Um, I, we pulled potatoes, and I made the boys some fried potatoes that night. Um, I guess some people would call them hash browns. Some people would call them home fries, the cubed fried potatoes. Um, and it was enough to feed two of our boys. And I was out of one row. We planted 3 rows of potatoes. That was out of one row of them. So, I had enough potatoes for a family of 4. I'm guessing if I would have dug up all 3 rows of potatoes that day, I'm guessing I would have had enough potatoes to feed a family of 4, 2 meals. Um, it's not very much. Not going to sit here and tell you I expected to get 200 pounds of potatoes out of the 15 plants I had. I got a lot of potatoes, but they were all only about this big around. So it wasn't much. I got 0 growth on any of the onions I planted. I mean 0 growth. Our corn, I think I already know the problem with it. Our corn produced maybe 2 stalks. I mean, I planted right about 40 square feet of corn. Um, yeah, like 2, maybe 3 stalks of corn, maybe 10 cucumbers, 0 watermelon, a couple of cantaloupe. Our peppers did good, but I don't even remember planting a pepper that is red. But I got red peppers that they did pretty good. In essence, overall, if I lived back before the days of being able to go to the supermarket, I would starve this year. My family would starve this year. Um, so failure. That's the point of my garden. Couple years into beehives, and I've already failed at bees one time miserably. They all died. Um, I'm thinking about putting together, I don't know if I'd call it a speech or maybe writing up a pamphlet. I don't know how else to say it. But would anybody find it encouraging to have somebody put some sort of something together? Failure isn't a bad thing. What can you learn from it? Or maybe how to overcome the failure. Okay, so in the homesteading community, for me, we've been homesteading in some form for years. We've just never considered it being homesteaders, um, because the traditional Hollywood version of what a homesteader is the person that never goes to the grocery store, doesn't deal with the doctors, etc., etc. Haywire Homestead put out an excellent video yesterday about this very subject. So you call yourself a homesteader is what they titled their video. Um, Please go give that a look. To me, it was excellent because I've had people comment not on my videos, but in real life to me. You call yourself a homesteader, you only live on a quarter acre. What do you do? And I made mention of that on Two Family Homesteads live stream from the Homesteaders of America conference, and one of my answers is, I'm more of a homesteader than you. One of my other answers is, I may not fit your definition of a homesteader. We'll get there in a minute. Things like that. But it was just an excellent video that she put out. But what I'm getting at with reference to what I'm thinking about putting together is I jumped in this year to the homesteading community by way of I'm going to rely more on my garden. I'm going to do better with my bees. I am actively going to look for how I can get to what is traditionally thought of as a homesteader, get myself some bigger amount of land so that I can raise my own various vegetables in a greater degree than just my backyard garden, that I can raise my own animals, or maybe I can even hunt on my land and things like that. But then this year goes through and I failed at my YouTube channel compared to what I wanted. And that was just because I worked so much I couldn't put videos up. I did not have a goal or a thought in the world that in 2 or 3 months I was going to have 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours of watch time, which when I started, I didn't even know about that part. But I didn't. Here's the thing is that everything on my homestead looks like a failure this year, except so far my bees. Do I quit? No. So I'm trying to think, would it be interesting? Would it be something that is helpful? That's the important part. Helpful for people. Failure on the homestead and how to power through and keep going. If enough people think that's interesting, so I got 8 people in here. I actually got 7 people in here because I am one of them. So 7 people. If I can get 3 people who say yeah, it would, which I see one already has, I'll start putting it together. Actually, I'll probably put it together just for you, Farm in Our Backyard, if you want it. So I'm going to take that as a good. All right. Noto Acres says it'll help. So that's 2. Good morning, Food Forest Permaculture. Hey, y'all. That's a big channel in here in my life. I've got 2 of them in here. Or I don't know if 2 families. I'm excited about that. All right, there's 3, so I'm gonna start working on it. If I had enough people say it in here, I've got big plans on that. I've got big plans on it. I'm not telling you what it is. I'll maybe do a premiere video in several months about what this is going to turn into. But I agree wholeheartedly, Noto Acres, and I hope you don't mind. I'm going to actually use that statement, homesteading is in your heart, not in your success or failures. That's going to be a part of what I put in there. I was already thinking along those lines, but you really put the words to my thought very well. I'll give you credit, of course. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to make sure I come back through and screenshot that because I really like the way that's worded. Food Forest Permaculture, yes, do what you love and you will be really good at it. That's true. And I can give a great example of that in my own last couple years. I love building things. So I've created a business and I build houses and I build decks. Off homestead, of course. And I cannot tell you how many customers that have went through a general contractor. I work for a general contractor and I'll do this work for this customer, and this is the best job I could have possibly expected. In fact, so that's part 1 of their project, and they have already asked for us to come back specifically for part 2 of their project. One of the projects I did Thanksgiving of 2017, we did this project. We were off the project for probably 5-6 months, and just a massive tree fell on this deck. Please stop doing that. That got right in my eye. Please don't hit Daddy with it. So we got the male dog sprout and female dog sprout coming by. I'm trying to come up with cute names for them too, obviously. But I try to be me. Food for permaculture. I try to be me, and I'm really glad to have you here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm jumping all over the place. Back to the thought of doing what you love and you will succeed. So I was, this lady had her deck done by us, and a tree fell on it, and she went back to the same general contractor. It's an insurance job now, not a warranty job, thankfully. And she went back to the same general contractor and specifically asked, I want these guys to come back. They did such a good job. We've had people come back to us and ask us to do other jobs for them. And, unfortunately, there are reasons I can't. And so I haven't at this point in time. There may come a point in time where I can, but at this point in time, I can't. It just has to do with the way the contract's written between my general contractor and myself. Anyway, also, last year I lost my bees. This year, I have not. This year, I mean, I really came to the realization. I was scared the first year I had bees. I'm scared I'm going to do something wrong, and I let that fear overtake me to the point where I did do stuff wrong and I lost them. But this year I realized, and they're not my kids, but they're like my kids in that there are things they rely on me for, and I need to take care of that. I feed my kids. I need to feed my bees. Clothe my kids. I need to clothe my bees. What? So part of clothing my bees here is I'm going to be. It's not quite cold enough to need it yet, but I'm already working on the plans of I need to get some straw bales to insulate around them so that they don't have to work so long. So I'm clothing my bees. Just things that. But I realize. Man, I love my bees. They're a sense of peace for me, and I need to be respectful of that and give that back to them. Grandpa said, do what you love and you will never work a day in your life, and that is the absolute truth too. I mean, obviously you're going to be working by like the science definition, but is it work when you enjoy it? Yeah, I may happen to make some money off of it, but is it really work that, nowadays people look at work like, oh, you gotta go to work, it's Monday. And I hope that came across clear. I was trying to sound horrible because everybody hates work, and that's why they're not doing what they like. Big Sprout has talked to me for a couple of years now about going and becoming a petroleum engineer. And he just told me the other day, Dad, I don't want to do that. I only was looking at the money involved in that. And I'm glad that he came to that realization. I mean, I don't have a problem with him picking that career if that's what he wants to do. Do what you love. That's important. So I'm really excited that people are on board with that failure. I hope it will work out kind of the way I'm thinking. I'm going to start putting it into words. Farming in our backyard. Nathan, that's how I have been for the longest time. This pays the bills, which, I've always enjoyed building houses, for example. Not right now. We'll get some in a minute when we start doing schoolwork. Yeah, we're running behind on our schoolwork this week, so we got to do some on Saturday. But, so up until, I don't know, about late 2007, I was the house builder for someone else. And, meaning I was a W-2 employee. I did not own my own business. When the economy dumped, I went to the restaurant to work, and oh God, I can't tell you how much I hated that. Like, if you can work in a restaurant and that's what you like to do, more power to you. I could not stand it. But for me, it was a job that paid the bills. And the other good factor about it was I could show my boys that just because times are hard doesn't mean dad sits at home and does nothing. Um, and that was important to me at that time. I mean, it's still important, but that's a live example. And it was something I didn't love. I hated it. I did well at it because that's just who I am. I put everything into what I do. But I didn't love it, so I wasn't as good as I could have been. But my boys saw that dad was going to work, and but that's just it. It just paid the bills. I hope, Nathan, that you do find something that you love and that it pays the bills. Because it's important, no matter how much and how smart it is to hear the statement and live the statement, do what you love and you'll never work. It's still important to pay the bills. Nobody wants to be homeless. Everybody, yeah, that's just it, getting closer to the dream. Um, but here's a question about that. Do you have your dream delineated, like written down? This is exactly what my dream is. For example, me, I don't have it written down either. I'm giving you advice that I'm going to take myself, but I am starting to write all this stuff down. My dream is, and my 200-year plan is, and then my 200-year plan into a business plan. And then, but does my broad strokes, that's where I'm at right now. Because, for example, I want to be on more land where I can grow my own vegetables, grow my own meat. My wife is a spinner and a knitter, so we want to have fiber animals on our homestead when we get to a point where we can. But for us, in the broad strokes, we know we want to do that. But in the fine strokes, do we want to have the Angora rabbits, or would we rather have the sheep? And if we would rather have the sheep, do we want this kind of sheep, this kind of sheep, or this kind of sheep? And we're looking at that because we kind of started late in life researching what we want to do as far as that stuff goes. Because for us, up until probably about that 2008 time, for us it was we're okay to just run down to the local yarn shop to get some wool that I can spin for my wife's situation. We'll deal with that in a little bit. But here's why I asked that, because right now it's just a dream. Good morning, Brenda. Glad to have you. Thanks for stopping by. It's just a dream. So when you take your dream, this is something I've heard, and I kind of take it to heart, and that's why I'm writing everything down. When you take your dream and you write it down and you put a date to it, you now have a goal. And when you start working towards that goal, then you start having a plan. And so I think all of that's important. And again, I'm telling you, or I'm saying stuff to you all that I need to and am starting to take myself. That kind of advice. So I've got a goal set. Now I'm getting a plan set, and then in my plan, my broad strokes are, and then some of my finer details are, and how do we go about that? And then you gotta think, okay, well, which step do you take first? Do I just go out and buy 1,000 acres, which, by the way, I'm nowhere near going that big. I mean, not even a fraction. Well, if I get 1 acre, it's a fraction of it, but you understand what I'm saying. I said not even a fraction of 1,000 acres. I'm not going that big at all. But is that the first thing I do? Or do I plant a garden in my backyard? We plant a garden in our backyard. Can we take small steps? Because small steps are still steps. Starting where you are with what you have, working towards your goal. But I'm actually working out my goal with more than just me and my wife. I mean, we are ultimately who, and our kids, of course, but our kids we know are going to grow up and go do their own thing. Maybe their own thing will be just to build a house right next door on our land and continue to work the land with us. But maybe their plan will be to go off to some other state and be a petroleum engineer. So we have to do what's best for us. But in a part of that, I mean, I'm working with other people on things like what can we do if this situation happens or that situation happens. I mean, I'm working with my dad, my brother, a couple of my friends. Some of that is what can we do given situation X, Y, and Z. And, so we've got plan A, plan B, and plan C. And some of that is, what are your thoughts on this? This is what I'm thinking. And, one of my friends that I do a lot of work with, we've been close friends for 25 years or thereabout. I mean, we've been close friends. Um, what do you think is the financial viability of this? I will deal with this in a few minutes. And the reason that he and I have stayed good friends, I think, is that he and I will tell each other without question the blunt truth, even if it hurts the other one's feelings. Um, of course, we say it in love, but um, he's not gonna. I think that's a great idea. He might say, "I think it's a great idea," because it is a great idea, but I don't see it financially working. And I think that that's a lot of financially working. I think that's a big problem I have is sometimes I'll look at something and I think we can do this. Let's go. That's why I always run stuff by him and a couple other people because, I have really surrounded myself with people who will tell me the truth. And I think the people, I don't hide anything from anybody on my channel. I'm a Christian. I believe in God and I believe in the Bible from beginning to end. I try not to really push that on people, but I'm using this time to say I believe God answers prayers in 4 different ways. His answers are yes, no, slow down a little bit, grow up a little bit. Yes, no, slow, and grow. Yes is obvious. Dear God, give me a farm. Yep, there it is. No. Dear God, give me a farm. No, not what I got for you. Dear God, give me a farm. Slow down. I've got one for you, but some things need to come into play. You're not ready for it yet. No. Slow down. Some things need to come into play. It's not ready for you yet. That's the slow. And then the grow is you slow down. I've got something for you, but you are not ready for it yet. You still need to research whatever. And it just so happens, I say all of that to say that it just so happens that the people I bounce stuff off of answer me in those same 4 ways. And I can't tell you how refreshing that is to have somebody just tell you honestly X, Y, and Z, and how helpful that is. So I'm working on my plan, actually getting it written down in paper. These are my goals. These are my dreams. These are my dreams. These are my goals. These are the dates I have set. Can we do it? Can we even do this at all? And I'm running it by these people. So,
yes, no, snow, no. Yes, no, slow, no.
grow home. I right there. Switching subjects again. I'm sorry. That right there to me is the best compliment I can be paid as a father, to know that my kids are listening and picking up on things I say. They're learning from my mistakes. Thank God, and hopefully they don't make the same mistakes because I made some horrible ones. Little Sprout, would you please take this to the sink? So I'm glad to know that People are writing out their goals. I'm not just the only one. I want to go back and remind myself. It's closer down. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find something that was said here. Or I hope I didn't just imagine that I saw it. I probably did. Well, I must have imagined it. I don't know. Brenda, I'm glad to see you getting some sleep. I don't know the whole story about what everybody was talking about, but I caught the drift that you were having a struggle at getting some. So I'm glad that things have changed. It is a lady that you actually met over in Virginia very quickly, and she has a YouTube channel, and she is in our chat, chatting right now with us. So, okay, guys, I've been on here an hour and 15 minutes. I have a lot of stuff to do today. I appreciate everyone being here, whether you've been here the whole time or 2 minutes. I would ask of you all a couple of things. Number one, everybody who's in the chat, please take a moment to go through to the other channels, and if you watch a video or two of theirs, or you look over the content of their page and you think that they are something you would enjoy, please subscribe to them. Leave them a comment or two on a couple of videos and let them know you support them. Everybody, I personally want to thank you all for being here again. And I especially want to thank our moderators for being here. I doubt that there was too much junk that they had to delete or retract or tell somebody they couldn't talk for a while or whatever, just because I don't think that I'm a big enough channel to draw that attention. I may be wrong, but you guys have been here and ready to do that if needed. Thank you very much. Everybody else, if you would also say thank you to them, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Little Sprout getting in. Food farming in our backyard. What did I just read something. Oh, wow. Somebody said so. The cookie recipe. Were you talking to me, or did someone else give you a cookie recipe, Brenda? It was right there at the bottom. I was looking up like 3 or 4 comments for it. If it's the keto cookie recipe I made, I hope you really did enjoy that. To me, that was absolutely delicious. So, but yes, guys, I do have to get off. I have things I have to do. Little Sprout needs some attention. He's, in my opinion, done really well for kind of being unsupervised for an hour. I mean, he was obviously not completely unsupervised. Look for some keto videos coming up, and for those of you that are in the challenge and or just in the collaboration, please don't back off on making some keto videos of your choice. And I appreciate you all. Everybody, remember, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us all rejoice and be glad in it. Thanks for being here. We will see you all the next time. Have a good day.